Good evening, everyone, and welcome to IntelliHack NextGen, the fourth edition of the IntelliHack series. IntelliHack is Sri Lanka's first ever machine learning and AI hackathon organized by the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter of UCSC. Today marks the first workshop of IntelliHack NextGen. We're thrilled to have all innovators who are ready to push boundaries of what's possible. My name is Binali Ukwata, and I will be your moderator for this evening. This year promises to be bigger and better than before. We've got exciting workshops lined up to equip you with the skills you need to succeed in the hackathon. But before we dive into those, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible support we have received from our sponsors. Now, to officially kick things off, I would like to invite our esteemed event chair, Mr. Shamoth Henderson, to address you. He'll be providing some opening remarks and setting the tone for the exciting journey ahead. Shamoth, over to you.
Thank you, Binali. Good evening, everyone. I warmly welcome all you to the very first workshop of IntelliHack's NextGen. As the event chair, it's bring me a great pleasure to stand before you today, marking the beginning of our fourth consecutive IntelliHack event, organized by the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter of UCSC. IntelliHack stands as the beacon innovation in the world of machine learning hackathon in Sri Lanka, and it is true an honor to witness its growth year after year. For those who are new to our society, let me give a brief introduction. The IEEE Computer Society Student Branch chapter of UCSC holds a significant position among other societies with membership of UCSC undergraduate from all four batches. The CS chapter dedicates itself to enhance the professional development of students by organizing many activities related to computing. Annually, we hold numerous technical-based events, but IntelliHacks take the spotlight. The purpose of hackathon is familiarize participants with the concept of machine learning, which is use of artificial intelligence to develop system it can learn on their own. Undergraduates from any university can take part in this. It serves as an unparalleled platform for learning, networking, and engaging with industry professionals. Starting with IntelliHack 2019, which was the first ever machine learning hackathon in Sri Lanka, our journey has marked by significant growth and success. For the second time, IntelliHack 2.0 was held in sole motive of familiarizing young students with the concept of machine learning related to design innovative self-learning systems. Building upon the foundation laid by IntelliHack 2019 and IntelliHack 2.0, in the last year, IntelliHack 3.0 was able to gain a huge success as all of the planned goals were achieved. We are able to introduce our participants to new aspects of machine learning by providing a forum of them cooperate and display their talents. And now we embark on our fourth installment, IntelliHacks NextGen. We do so in renewed vigor and innovation. This year, we are thrilled to introduce a new dimension to the competition by providing problem by ourselves of our participants to work with. Details regarding the excitement will be revealed soon on our official website. Let me walk through the timeline of event await us. Our journey begins with the workshop 1 visit which been scheduled for today, followed by workshop 2 with 21st of April and workshop 3 on the 4th of May. The initial round kicks off on 26th of April, leading up to the grand finale, where only the top 10 teams will be opportunity to showcase their skills in final round on 11th of May. Finalists will prepare themselves for 24-hour hackathon that will push boundaries of innovation and creativity. Finally, on the 12th of May, we will gather for our much anticipated award ceremony where we will celebrate the skills and hard work of our participants. Prizes with great value await the deserving winners. As we embark on this exciting journey, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each one of you to our first workshop of IntelliHack NextGen. I hope you found inspiration, innovation, and knowledge in days ahead. Thank you again for joining us. Over to Binali.
Thank you very much, Shamod, for that wonderful welcome. Now let's get down to business. Before we unveil the great mind who will be leading today's session, if you encounter any doubts during the session, you can scan the QR code on the screen or visit the link in the chat forum, which will then redirect you to a Padlet where you can post your questions. And at the end of the session, we will address them. Our first workshop will focus on introduction to large language models. This session will be led by the incredible Dr. Sumani Rajadurai, Principal Machine Learning Engineer at Octave, a renowned expert in the field of AI and high-tech systems. Dr. Rajadurai has more than 9 years of industry expertise with PhD research in distributed stream processing. I can guarantee you will walk away from his workshop with a brain full of valuable insights. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sumani Rajadurai. Over to you, Dr. Rajadurai.
Yeah, thank you very much, Binali, and thank you very much for everyone, joining this particular, the first workshop of IntelliHack. Let me share my deck first. So, Binali, I am getting this. I couldn't share the deck. Can you please, make me co-host?
Yeah, sure. Just give me a minute, Mr.
Sure.
Now can you
Yeah.
try?
Now yes, it works now. Yeah.
Right.
Can you all see my deck?
Yes, Mr. Rajadurai, we can.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So today in this first workshop, so we will see what is Gen AI, and specifically we will spend some time with large language models. So I have designed this particular presentation in a way that to cover uh, the theoretical part to some extent, and also I will be spending half of the time with the tutorial sessions as well. So we'll please when I am doing this hands-on, I will also share the link. You can also please download the particular notebooks and then run the code or notebooks along with me. And then if you have any questions or doubts, you can always interrupt me and then ask questions. Um, so let's move on. Um, uh, Give me a second. So this is the outline of this particular presentation. So first, I will provide some introduction to generative AI, uh, and then we will be doing generative AI hands-on example, and then we'll lightly touch based on LangChain. LangChain is one of the popular framework to develop generative AI or LLM applications. And then we will see one of the chain example, a very, very small example, but it will help you to understand the concept very well. And then finally, we will see, what are the next steps after getting introduced to Gen AI and after getting introduced to some Gen AI related tutorials and code base. How can you, develop your knowledge on top of it and then become an expert in this particular area. So this is the outline of this particular presentation. And then let me introduce myself. As already Binali has provided the introduction, so I am Dr. Sumani Rajadurai. I currently work as a principal machine learning engineer at Octave. Octave is part of John Hill's Holdings. And then, I completed my bachelor's degree in Sri Lanka at University of Moratuwa, and then, did my PhD at National University of Singapore with collaboration with MIT in the United States. So this is, just a, background about me. So let's jump into the main content. So let's see some couple of videos first, okay? So I am sure you all might have seen these videos. Let's see this one. there's no audio, just a video only. Okay, so this one, I mean, can you believe this is generated by a generative AI model? Okay, so the recent model that OpenAI has released, which is Sora, that has generated this particular video clip, which look realistic, and then human uh, cannot differentiate whether this is generated one or actual video clip that is taken from some place in the world. So in the same way, let's see one more video. Okay, here also another video I have just copied or downloaded from OpenAI Sora. Uh, Yeah, so this is another image, another video that you would see. It looks realistic. We couldn't, differentiate any artificial aspect there. Look absolutely realistic. But the human that you are seeing here, and also the cat, everything was generated via a generative AI model. So this is the latest Sora OpenAI model. So here the question is why I am showing this thing is to to understand the extent that that generative AI and AI in particular the artificial intelligence field has matured in the last uh, 18 to 24 months. Okay, so this is a very fast growing and then fast moving area where every single day the improvement innovations have been made, and then lots of companies are working on it tirelessly, and there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of researchers, and then people are working on this generative AI, in particular AI artificial intelligence field, to improve the domain and all. So let's see in a high level. First of all, what are these terminologies? What is AI and what is machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI and LLMs? Okay, let's see whether we have understood rightly or not. So first one is so artificial intelligence, right? So the artificial intelligence in a simple term, uh, AI is a field of computer science on creating intelligent machines that can mimic human cognitive functions like learning, problem solving, drawing, or even singing, and so on. So that is AI. AI can contain various techniques, including rule-based systems to complex algorithms, and even the this deep learning techniques. Everything is included in the bigger, larger domain of AI. So within AI, we have machine learning. So machine learning is a subfield of AI that allows computers to data, learn patterns from data. Okay, so it allows computers to learn patterns from data, and then when there's a new data, the trained models can make the prediction. So that is machine learning, which is part of AI. And then within machine learning, we have a third one, which is deep learning. So deep learning is a type of machine learning that is inspired by the structure or function of human brain. These deep learning models that uses artificial neural networks, and then they use these multiple hidden layers and deep layers to process information and then capture the underlying patterns and structures in the provided training data set. So that is what deep learning does. And deep learning is compared to machine learning, the standard or classic machine learning techniques. Deep learning is some the breakthrough where it performs very well with unstructured data. So what I meant by unstructured data is the structured data means tabular data, whatever you load and read in pandas or any other Python frameworks. But unstructured data is more of a text, image, and audio and video. Those are, we call it as unstructured data. So deep learning is really good with unstructured data, and then it is showing a massive improvement in terms of understanding or finding the underlying patterns in the unstructured data and then making the predictions or whatever. And then we have the fourth one, which is generative AI. This is the very hot field these days. Gen AI is generative AI is a sub area in deep learning that can create new and original content. Okay, so here that generative AI is not just limited to one type of the content. It can handle images, videos, audios, and text in general. So that is the larger piece of generative AI. And then finally, large language models. Okay, so the final one is large language models, or we call it as LLMs. So LLMs are a specific kind of generative AI model that are capable of generating human-like language. Okay, so uh, I am pretty sure you all uh, have played with ChatGPT or Gemini, so it's not a new thing anymore. It's a the ChatGPT is backed by GPT 3.5 turbo model, or if you are using the paid version, it will be backed by GPT 4, which are LLMs, large language models. So LLMs, are trained on massive amount of text data, and then they can understand and respond complex languages, not just English, but pretty much any language in the world, including Chinese, Japanese, Hindi, Tamil, Sinhalese, or any language, and generate different creative text formats. So that is LLMs. Okay, so these are the high level buzzwords, or you might have heard, or. So that's why I thought of covering this one to give some context first, and then let's have a focus into this area, generative AI. Here in a second. Yeah. So let's have a focus here in generative AI and then LLMs. So here this is the area that we are going to focus in this particular today's sessions. Okay, is that clear? Do you have any question? Okay, let's dive into this Gen AI and LLMs. So I have a few more slides to discuss about Gen AI. So as I already mentioned in the previous slide, Gen AI, contains wide range of deep learning techniques. First of all, it's a subset of subfield within deep learning. So Gen AI uses wide range of deep learning techniques, and then specifically that can create new and original content. And then, as I already mentioned, this content can be in various forms, including text, image, as music, and even software code. Okay. Uh, and then, as I already mentioned, LLMs are specific kind of generative AI that is capable of generating human-like language. So LLMs are specialized or subfield of Gen AI, which are specialized for text. And then LLMs are trained on massive uh, amounts of text data, and then they surpass humans level of performance in terms of understanding language and generating text contents. Okay. So here, one of the popular, there are several companies working on developing these generative AI technologies, models, and LLMs. But one of the popular one you might have heard, or definitely you might have interacted with is OpenAI. That is, which is one of the prominent company which works tirelessly on this particular field. And then equally, there's a Google also working on it, Google Gemini, and then they have different models in various text format, various output formats. And then there are several other companies like Anthropic, Mistral, and like that. There are few other companies also working on this domain. Those are the prominent companies in Meta or Facebook also working on it. So let's have the focus on OpenAI at least for this particular tutorial session. I just created this text notebooks and everything, focusing on OpenAI models, mainly ChatGPT 3.5 and 4. So if we see these OpenAI models, the state of the art models, they have this for text, they have this GPT 3.5 or 4, and for audio they have Whisper, and then for image they have DALI 3, which is the latest one, and for the video they have Sora, which are these are the latest release from this OpenAI organization. And the video that you have watched at the beginning, the video, 2 video clips are generated by the this particular Sora model, and then you can find those videos in the OpenAI website as well, and you can also download those videos. Any question here? Okay. Let me spend maybe another 5 minutes on this, how these LLMs are working. So I'm not going to dive very deep into the technical part of these LLMs, but I'm just trying to give you some keywords and some high level ideas. So if any of you is interested into this particular field or area, you can use those keywords and then high level information, and then you can keep your search and read, and then improve your knowledge in the deep technical part. So let's see how do LLMs work. So in a simple term, first of all, what you all have to understand is LLMs are, it's a simply those are in a simple term, LLMs are next word predictor. Okay, so to be precise, it's not even word. So this in LLM world or generative AI world or even this NLP world, they have the concept called tokens. Okay, so tokens are, you can think of tokens as something related to word, but not exactly the English or language words in a language. Uh, but yeah, I mean, no harm just thinking the tokens and words are same for a simplicity. Okay, now the LLMs are nothing, just a fancy next word predictor. Okay, if you provide the sequence of words in a sentence, it it keeps on in auto regressive way, it keeps on predict the next next possible word. Is that clear? That is the foundation. You have to have that understanding very well. LLMs are simply next word predictors. um, Maybe what we can do is, I really like these sessions to be a little interactive. So if you have any question, or if you have uh, uh, any clarifications in the middle, please stop me. So that will definitely help not only you but also others to understand the concepts very well. Okay, So don't be hesitant or don't be reluctant. Just open up yourself and then stop me at any point if you have any question or clarification thing. So don't wait till the at the at the end of the session, or maybe don't just uh, stop asking anything, but just let's have this session as interactive session. Okay. So any questions so far? Anyone? Maybe should I go through this list, or anyone has any question? So if you are reluctant to ask that you can also send a chat message asking the question. Is everything okay? Any question? Okay. So I mean, please, always stop me and then ask questions if you have. That will be really helpful, not only for you but also the other participants. Okay. Okay. So let's spend a couple of minutes on understanding this LLM. So as I already mentioned, LLMs are basically next token prediction engines. Okay. So as I already mentioned, tokens and word are related to each other, or maybe something. So we will let's see one example here. So let's see this one. Okay. uh, this is the word or sentence: when I hear rain on my roof, I there's a underscore or blank, and in my kitchen. Okay. If we pass this thing to the model and expect the model to fill in the blanks, okay, what model does is model just tries to, based on the sequence which is the before and after, based on the sequence, it will try to predict the uh, next possible word from the from that language, whatever the language that we are expecting the output. Okay. So so if you assume that a token is a word, I mean, as I mentioned, token, we can safely assume token is a word, then the language models determines the probabilities of different word sequence in the sequence of words to replace the underscore. Okay. So for an example, language model might determine the following words with the probability. First one is, the blank can be, I cook soup in my kitchen, or I warm up a kettle in my kitchen. This is cover nap or relax in my kitchen. So these are the top 3 or top 5 sentence, the sequences that has LLMs predicted, and then it also predicts with a probability, and whatever the highest probability will be picked, and then it will fill the blank, and then we will take the generated sentence as, when I hear rain on my roof, I cook soup in my kitchen. Okay. So this is how LLMs work behind the scene. It's a massive and fancy prediction engines that tries to predict next best word or next best token based on the sequence that language sequence that you have provided to the model. Any question? I think anyone has any question? Is there any in the chat? Can you explain again LLMs simply? So yeah, so LLMs simply, in simple terms, LLMs are simply focusing on text generation, understanding text and summarizing text, or creating new content in text, and everything is related to language and text. And then how LLMs work behind the scene is simply those are uh, next token prediction engines. and based on the sequence before and after, it will tries to predict the sequence with the probability and pick the highest probability word. Any question? Is there any connection between LLMs and NLP? Yes, there's, I mean, so those are directly connected and huge overlap. Actually, NLP is there for quite a long time. I would say more than 5 decades, or 4+ decades. So there's a vast literature available, and all big tech, the techniques and then methodologies are there. So LLMs, I would say it's a natural evolution of NLP. Okay, so where it's a just in the NLP domain itself, there's a breakthrough technologies and the techniques that researchers have come up with or came up with in the mainly after 2015, that led into developing large language models. So we can think in terms, NLP is kind of a, the prior or very vast old field. They mostly focus on, language models, but LLM is a kind of a, upgraded version of NLP, where it even, works on massive data set and also generation part as well. Can we ask questions directly? Yes, please go ahead, Dhananjaya, right? If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So how would the process work, like predicting the next word? How the LLMs decide which one is the most correct one? Or is it just a probability thing, or like how does it work under the hood?
Come again, under the hood, it's a probability engine. They have, I mean, I have few keywords and high level things in the next slide, but I mean the objective of this particular session is not to jump or dive deep into these deep technical contents in this particular LLMs area. But if you are interested, I am happy to discuss with you even after the session. I'll just show you the next slide, and then if you have any further question, we can also take it offline, or maybe we can even keep discussing in this session. So there is one more question. Why we need LLMs? Okay, so why we need LLMs is specifically to behave like a human, like in terms of treating these languages and all these generations part, because we worked on NLP, natural language processing, and NLP models for more than 5 decades, but we couldn't beat human level performance with the LLM, with the NLP techniques. There were chatbots, and there were text summarization, and there were few applications from the NLP models, but the problem is none of those models beat human in terms of understanding the large text context and summarizing it or generating new context, new contents, or anything. Uh, so there is where LLMs kind of a upgraded or massive next generation technology that can generate contents which exactly, or even in an impressive way that compared to the humans level performance. And then there's one more question. So first of all, maybe before go to the next question, Satira, so are you clear on this? Why we need LLMs? Satira, right? I mean, simply it's I mean, we want the models to perform like human, or even, beat human level performance. Okay, the NLP was there, but we couldn't achieve much. There were incremental improvements, but LLM is, some breakthrough. Even a single model can handle pretty much all language in the world, not just English or Chinese, Japanese, or any language, Russian, German, any language, and then it can understand, generate, translate, transcript. It does, everything, pretty much everything that human can, do. So that is the, the beauty of LLMs. And then the next question is, what are the industry applications in LLMs? So there are several industry applications in LLMs and also generative AI. So lots of industries are, adapting these LLMs in their day-to-day work. So one thing is even creating PowerPoint slides completely. Okay, that is one application where LLMs can create PowerPoint slides for a presentation within a minute. Or even, you all might have, worked in LLMs can write code, Python code. If you have any, if any of you have used GitHub Copilot or any other Copilot programming thing, the LLMs can write code and write functions and then comments and codes. And then in the banking industry, they are adapting these LLMs in terms of processing massive documents, compliance documents, and other things. To usually, we have banks have dedicated people to go through lengthy documents for a loan processing or loan for any processing. But these LLMs are, shortening their processing time from multiple days to few minutes. So that is a massive productivity improvement in bankings. Um, like that, there are tons of applications. Definitely, you would learn and or get introduced to those going forward. So yeah, there are lots of tons of applications, and people are working on it. And then next question, Safiru Fernando, do LLMs dynamically get data online, or is it some old data stored? If so, approximately how much data is stored in an LLM? Okay, so the LLMs doesn't get I mean, they don't dynamically get data online. That is how, the LLMs are like any other training model, right? So even if you train a standard decision tree or any machine learning model, you train it and then you infer it. Okay, train and so LLMs also go through that cycle where there will be training phase. During the training phase, they get trained with a massive amount of data for, multiple days, even months, on a massive computing power. And then once those are trained, we call it as a foundational models or pre-trained models. After that one, uh, we don't update anything. We keep the pre-trained model as it is. Okay. Now your second question. Um, okay, on that first question itself, do LLMs get data dynamically online? Uh, they don't, but there's a catch. There are some providers, they keep on, upgrade their data with the latest, upgrade their model with the latest data. So Google Gemini is one good example. They keep training or upgrading their models, the Gemini model behind the scene, with the latest data continuously. So what happens is the LLMs don't get the data directly, but you can have a continuous training model training cycle to upgrade the model that whatever you are having. But if you don't do the continuous retraining, then whatever the data that you have used during the model training session will be there. That's only the LLMs know. Now any new information. Then one more question: why Sri Lanka can't build company like LLMs? Yeah, so that is a good question. So mainly, it's a kind of a the talent and innovation. But on top of that one, this generative AI world, the training a model is super expensive. Okay, even you need 20 to 30 million dollar to train a good LLM model. Okay, so 20 million US dollar, or let's assume 30 million US dollar means how much? Uh, Close to 9 billion or 90 billion if we 30 into 300. Okay, so you need massive investment to develop these LLMs. Okay, and then one more question. So that is one reason that Sri Lanka couldn't do it, and most of the third world countries also, or even even these, there are first second world countries other than USA. All other countries are behind here, because you need a massive $1 billion investment to develop a world class language models. Okay, so then Pujani has asked what architecture they are using, reinforcement learning or unsupervised learning. So it's not none of these. They used something totally different. I'll highlight those in the next slide. So till now you guys are clear, right? Okay. So let me move to the next slide. The next slide is like a high level teaser on the technical front. We can spend even a day to understand or discuss these topics. This is a state of the art techniques and all. So the in a high level, to answer you also the last question, LLMs follow this transformer architecture. Okay, so if you see this the diagram on the right hand side, this is the example of transformer architecture where uh, the transformers consist of encoder and decoder. So you see this this is um, encoder, and then this is decoder, and then the encoder converts the input text into an intermediate representation, and the decoder converts back that intermediate representation to a useful text. Okay, that is one of the massive breakthrough. That introduction of transformer architecture uh, increased the performance and accuracy of these language models massively. And then another crucial techniques that got introduced in 2017 was from the Google researchers is attention mechanism. Okay, so if you are interested, you can read these two papers. Both are from Google researchers. That attention is all you need. You can go and download and read this research paper. This is one of the seminal paper in this generative AI and LLMs world, and also introduced a massive breakthrough in this research frontier. Okay, so I mean you can read this attention is all you need research paper, and also BERT is also another prior paper from the pretty much in the same research group from Google. Those also worth reading, BERT model and BERT paper. Okay, so the purpose of this particular slide I am showing it to you is just to provide you or introduce you high level keywords at least. Okay, this is a vast topic. You can spend several hours, days to discuss these things, but just to get introduced these words at least. One is the transformer architecture. That is pretty much all state of the art LLM or even generative AI models, including uh, video, audio, everything follows this transform architecture. And then they use attention mechanism. That is something, another massive breakthrough in this particular research domain. And then self attention, multi-head attention, encoder decoder, positional encoding. And then also this also another cool approach, masked language model, which was introduced by this the BERT the project. And then self-supervision. So this is what I mean for your one of the question, whether LLMs use this reinforcement learning or unsupervised learning. Actually, none of those. They use this self-supervised learning. They just try to understand the connection and create labels dynamically from the provided large corpus of text. Yeah, so maybe this is a little bit too much whatever you are seeing on this particular specific slide, but it's worth getting introduced to these keywords and these concepts, and then you can use your free time to read more and understand more if you have some interest in this particular area. Okay, any question here? Okay, so in the interest of time, let's move on. Let's move on to the technical, I mean the hands-on part. Okay, so this is the high-level introduction. I'm trying to. I believe. I mean, you guys, I mean, you all have gotten some understanding about generative AI and LLMs. And let's move into hands-on example. So before I move into the hands-on thing, these are the, as I already mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, we will be focusing on OpenAI services, even though there are several other companies, building and providing LLM services. Let's focus on OpenAI. This is one of the prominent company. So they have several uh, dedicated models for different services and different applications. So one is for this LLMs front, they have um, ChatGPT 3.5 or GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 and GPT-4 Turbo. Okay, this is LLM, and you will be using these models for the text generation or text related activities. And then they have this DALI 3 and DALI 2 for image generation. And there's one thing called embeddings. Maybe you will get introduced to those things later. So for embedding endpoints, they have this text embedding 3 large and text embedding small and ADA. And then they have these fine-tuning endpoints as well. And then for audio processing, the OpenAI provides TTS1 and TTS1 HD. So these are the models that OpenAI provides as of now. And then if you want to access those models, you have to make these functions call, like for text related thing, you have to use this. If you want to interact with this GPT 3.5 or GPT-4, you have to use this particular API call. And then for the image generation, to create an image, you have to use this particular thing. To edit image, the second one. To create image variation, you have to use the third one, and so on. Okay, so this is the high level introduction about OpenAI services, and then they are available models and functionalities. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the example. Okay, can you all download this particular I mean repository? Either you can go to this particular link. Maybe I'll copy that link in the chat. You can go to that particular link and clone the repository. Or if you are new to this Git related stuff, you can click the next link and then download the same repository via just a straight downloadable link. Can you all first of all download this particular the code base or whatever the set of notebooks actually? Can you all download and open it in your IDE? Please, maybe we'll spend 2 to 3 minutes for you to. I mean, you are free to follow either first link or second link. Both will uh, provide you the same set of notebooks. So if you have successfully downloaded and opened the folder in a in one of your favorite IDE, mostly these days, you can go with the VS Code. Just in the chat message, just say done now something, so that we will get to know. Yeah, okay. There are a few people have messaged me directly. Yeah, 6, 7 people. I'll wait for a few more minutes for at least 30 people to complete their cloning part. Then we'll move into the notebooks. And by the way, are you seeing my deck or the VS Code? Which screen are you seeing? Can someone confirm me whether you are seeing the
We are
VS
seeing a
Code?
deck. So
Okay, deck, right. Okay.
I think you have to
check.
reshare.
Yeah, reshare that thing. No? Okay. What about now?
Now we can see Mr. Rajadurai.
Right. Okay. Let's give 1 more minute or 2 more minutes. There are close to 10, 15 people, but out of the all, how many participants are there? Close to 75 now. So we'll provide maybe wait for 1 or 2 minutes for everyone, or maybe at least reasonable number of people to set this up and open everything in their whatever the ID. It can be not necessarily VS Code. You are free to open this thing in even Google Colab or whatever other IDE that you prefer. Okay, before that one, I need to show something. Let's give me a second. So to run these particular notebooks, let's start, okay, by the way. Okay. To run these notebooks, you are, I mean, these notebooks are, essentially connecting to the OpenAI models, okay? Either, there's it uses DALI 3, it uses GPT 3.5, also you are free to change it to GPT 4 and so on, okay? Now, the question is, when you are when you try to connect to this OpenAI model, you need to set API key. Okay, so let's see how to generate the API key with your free account. If you go to this second. I'm sharing my browser.
Dr. Rajadurai,
Yes.
we can see your visual code, not the browser.
Yeah, I'm sharing. Give me a second. What about now?
Not yet. Now we can see.
Okay. So you all, I mean, I believe you all have this, have created account in OpenAI at least to use ChatGPT. Now, can you go to this openai.com, not the ChatGPT.openai, but directly openai.com? Can you all go there, and then we'll see how to generate a key first. Then once you there, I mean, let me go quickly. So you have to go to login. Then you will be logging into this thing. So when you log in, it will ask two option. First is Chat GPT, whether you want to interact with Chat GPT or you want to interact with the API related stuff. So click API. Okay, so then it will bring you to the API related documentation, tutorials, and their services and everything, examples and everything. So here you can play with or spend enough time with. Here also there's API reference document, other documentation, examples and everything. But the most important thing is, if you go to the left hand side, there's a item called API keys. Okay, if you go there, you can click this particular generate new secret key, and then you can generate new secret key by providing a maybe some name. Okay, tutorial. You can just provide any name for the key, secret keys thing, and then you can click thing. It will generate a new key for you from your account, and then you can copy that one. You have to immediately copy that key. If you don't copy it, you will never be able to see that key again. You have to copy that key. Okay, now once you copy it, go to that your notebook. Yes, okay. And then in the notebook, at the beginning of the notebook, maybe in the second or third cell, you would see this. There's a variable called API key. You have to set that one with the key that you have generated with your account. Shall we wait a little bit here for everyone to generate the key, and then try that out first of all? So for VS Code, I mean, there's a message, the direct message, that can you tell me if you are using any specific extension on VS Code? This is a VS Code with Jupyter extension. Other than that, nothing, any fancy add-ons or extension. But default VS Code, if you try to open this IPython notebook or Jupyter notebook, it will ask you to install this particular extension. Let me go to this extension thing. See, this particular extension is actually provided coming from Microsoft itself. So you have to install this Jupyter extension to be able to open notebooks in the VS Code. So are we set, or can I move ahead with the code line? So do you guys still need some time to set everything up? Anyone who has generated the key on your own? Okay, one person has completed it, generated the key. Yeah, there are 2, 3, 4. Chamudi Srivartan has raised a hand. So any question, you can open, unmute yourself and ask the question. Do you have any? Right, okay. Yeah, there are some direct messages as well, but I mean, there are few people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people have already generated the key, and then, set up this notebook, everything in the IDE as well. So if any of you face this, the problem with Visual VS Code, you can open the same notebooks in Google Colab. No issue. You can just, go to Colab, but don't just drag and drop. Instead, go to the Colab and then go to the files and the upload notebook. Click that upload notebook selection, and then, you can upload the notebook and then open everything in the Colab. And then from Colab, you can straight away run these Jupyter notebook cells. We'll wait for a few more people to complete the API key generation and setting up the environment and everything. So whoever completed, please send me a direct message, at least or the public message to everyone done or something, so that we will get to know your status. If there yeah, there are completed yeah, there are 7, 8 people only so far. Let's wait for 2 minutes. So if you have generated the key, you have to paste the key here. In the you will see, if you open this the zeros, the first notebook. In the third cell, there's a variable called API key. You have to set that key with your generated key. Okay, there are reasonable number of people have completed that steps. So let's go through this particular notebook, and you can also independently run it. What we are here doing is it's just a command, and then give me a second, let me select the generative AI thing. So this one I have already done. I'm running this particular second cell and third cell. So in the third cell, I believe, I am taking a assumption here. You all are familiar with these programming languages, and then the basic programming. I believe since you are participating in this hackathon and all, you must be good with decent level of programming skills. Okay, with that assumption, I am moving forward with this particular notebook. So we are importing a few important uh, libraries and packages. So one of the important thing is we have to, in order to connect these OpenAI services, we have to install this OpenAI package from pip install OpenAI package, and then we have to import that particular package here in this one. Okay, and the rest are just a default JOS, this and everything, and then we set up this OpenAI key as well. Now this is the new line where we are initializing a client. So that is where we initialize a OpenAI client. Okay, this is what will help us to communicate with the OpenAI services. Okay, this is something new for you, and then these are just some helper functions. It just help us to display a message. Let's skip it for the moment. Skip means you just run that cell, but let's not spend enough much time to understand that particular function. You will understand later. And then this is the second function, where this particular function try to communicate with the OpenAI model, and then get chat reply or response from that model. Okay, it's all about chat, not language, not anything about nothing about image or audio, anything, just a text only. So here this particular function is one of the important function for this particular in this particular notebook, where it use this is particular thing that I have already mentioned in that slide. Okay, client.chat.completions.create. So I have mentioned this one in the slide where with the OpenAI services slide. So we are calling that particular function with the model that we are interested in. In this case, we are going for GPT 3.5 Turbo, and then we are passing the message. Here is where we will set the message or whatever our question or user input, whatever you typically ask in ChatGPT web front end, and then there are some other parameters. Let's keep it aside for the moment, and then this particular line will return the response from the model. Okay, that is what coming as the variable R, local variable R. Okay, from that particular return parameter, returned object, we can access the return response message by going to this r.choices and message.content. So here is where you can read this OpenAI API document and then understand further. But I mean, when you try to delve deeper into this thing, you will understand it. But for the moment, just bear with me with these lines to understand. Okay, this is what the response is. Okay, let me move to the next cell. So for the message also we have a format. Okay, the OpenAI has defined a format. So message is a kind of a list of dictionaries where you will there's a variable called role. You can set the variable as the role with a system or user or some other role, and then content. The content is where you have or you would set your question. Okay, so that is the message format. Now this is the chatbot part. Okay, let me run this particular cell. Okay, I am just running. This is a while loop. Okay, before running, let me explain this particular cell. It's a while loop, never ending, while loop, and then we get the user input. Okay, so we are going to type something, and then if the input is exit, we are going to break the or exit the loop. But if something else, we are going to append whatever the user input uh, as a new dictionary set in that particular list. Message is a list, right? So it's a Python list. So we'll append a new role, user, and content, and then we will pass that message to the original functions that we have read. Okay, get assistant response. Here is where the message get passed, and then here also in this particular function called API call passes the message. Okay, and then also model, we are fixing the model as a GPT 3.5 turbo. So from that that special function will return the response, and then we will also store the response in the message list for our future purpose, and then here we are printing that response for us to see the response. Okay, so let me execute this particular cell. Okay, now the VS Code, I mean, it's little weird. So it asks this thing at the top. I couldn't move this one. Can you see this one at the top, the user input? Hi, I'm sending hi, how are you? Can you see the output? I am saying my question is hi, how are you? And the chat GPT, the GPT 3.5 turbo model's response is, oh, just living in the dream as a chatbot program to answer questions all the day. How can I help you today? So this is the response. Can someone type some answer for questions for me to pass it to the model? Let's have this one little interactive. Any question that you want to pass it to the model? No, it is waiting for our subsequent question. So please type some questions, whatever you feel like. So while you're thinking about yeah, okay, there's a question from one. Who are you? Okay, let me okay. Who are you? Okay, the answer is I am just a friendly neighborhood sarcastic chatbot here to provide unenthusiastic answers to your burning questions. What can I do for you? Okay, another interesting question. What is the purpose of life? Okay, it's a little bit philosophical question. Let's see, what does it do? Okay, what is the purpose of life? It's the age-old question. The purpose of life is to, well, I am just a chatbot, so I will let you ponder that deep philosophical questions on your own, right? Yeah. Okay. Let me ask one more question. Maybe write a poem about University of Colombo. Okay. Let's see what we get. So write me a. This is the prompt. Write me a poem about University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. So this is the response. Oh, University of Colombo is so grand and prestigious, where students study with minds so ambitious. Okay, this is a poetic one. Okay, I'm not good at reading poems, but you get it right. I believe you understood. Poetic or in the University of, yeah, keep keep going. Okay, in the chat message, I am getting few question. So what I will do is, if some people are getting this quota exceeded error, okay. So what I'll share my API keys. My one is a paid key with my credit card. So I'll share it in the chat. So I mean you can use it for the moment for this tutorial session purpose. Then we'll okay. I'll if any of you face any uh, that API key issue or quota exceeded error or anything, please replace your API key line with this particular line that I have copied in the chat. That will allow you to use my personal account key, and then with that key you will be able to run the code. So this is keep going, right? Let's if you want to terminate the exit from this, you just you just type exit. Okay. Okay, we have successfully ran the first Gen AI application, kind of a toy or hello world application, where we have developed or developed a chatbot. Okay, is this clear? Or any question before we? There are a lot to cover, but I don't think we have enough time. Whatever the best we can do, we'll do. So is this clear, first of all, with the first chatbot that you have developed? You have developed means you have at least witnessed here.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Your
Sir,
name, please?
when you
Kamal.
enter the system prompt, does it take
Yeah.
space from our context window? Like if I want to do some in-context learning, is it okay to give a lengthy paragraph of example to my system prompt?
Yeah. You can. No, but the ideal suggested best practice is not to give it as a system prompt. In the system prompt, you have to set up high-level instructions to the chatbot. But in the user prompt, you can set the context and ask the question.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, that is the right practice. API key. So I'm just going through the chat messages. There are some direct messages as well from you guys. So it doesn't tell about the engine we are using. It's not to ask from the chatbot. I didn't get that question. It is paying error. Purpose of the life. Yeah, the OpenAI library is free. You can just do pip install. That is just a wrapper to connect to the OpenAI services. It is a free library. You can just do this pip install whatever the cell I have shown here. You can install this thing. Okay, it worked. Okay, so with the new key or it worked. Thank you, sir. Okay, Nipuni. Okay, so with the new key, with my the paid key, it works, right? Okay. what we'll do is we will give a 10, maybe not a 10 minutes is too much, knowing it's a up to 9 o'clock session. We will take 5 minutes break. Okay. Meanwhile, those who are, troubleshooting or working with this particular notebook, please, try to sort things out, technical things, and then we'll switch back to the presentation deck, uh, and then start from the deck after 5 minutes by 8:35. So there's one question: when we use OpenAI API, would it reveal itself for some input the user give? So if we use the OpenAI API, so what they do is they will not use that data for any retraining purpose, and then they will delete the data within. They will just keep the data for just security purpose, but they will delete the data after 30 days. So if we are using paid account and then APIs, we don't need to worry about the data privacy part. They guarantee that they will not, first of all, they will not use any of those data for retraining purpose. And second, they will not even, keep the data within themselves. They will just delete the data after retention period. So, Nipun, does this work exactly as ChatGPT? Yes, this is exactly as ChatGPT. This is the same code happening in even if you are using ChatGPT with the front end, back end wrappers. But behind the scene, the same particular line is being called, and then same particular ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo is being called, and then whatever the response message is, what you will see in the ChatGPT front end. So another question, follow-up question, can we use the APIs and create our own bots? Yeah, of course. I mean, that is the purpose. So even at Octave, we have created several sample bots for different purposes. And as I know, there are my colleagues around the globe and other people also have created several bots for their purposes, like, telcos, customer care, banking people for banking bot. There are, bots people are creating for their websites. You can just instead of scrolling or spending time in understanding a website, there will be a chatbot. You can just ask anything regarding the website, and it will provide the answers and the links, relevant links within the, like that. You are free to use these APIs and develop any kind of a sort of chatbot that you prefer. Even you guys can create a chatbot for University of Colombo, okay, to ask any information about University of Colombo, or maybe a chatbot for your library, okay, University of Colombo library. You guys can develop maybe a chatbot for University of Colombo library, and then provide it so any student can come and ask the question and get the book, the book's location or the information, and then it will be a very useful and productive tool for the university students. One more question regarding the data privacy. If we use OpenAI models for RAG chatbot Q&A over private data sources, is it okay? Yeah. So RAG is, I will not be covering the RAG in this today's session, but RAG is there to embed private data with these LLMs. So if you are having this private data, company data, the data which is private to your company, for an example, banks or insurance company, they will have a large amount of data, but those are very sensitive and private data. You can't, send those data to LLM model. So there's where, RAG will help you. RAG means a retrieval augmented generation, that will help you. So there's one question related to that one. One more question is, do we have to provide a massive data set for using APIs? So no. You don't need to provide any massive data. You have to just send a instruction regarding, okay, you are just a university chatbot or maybe library chatbot, and then you can do it with a very minimal instruction. The LLMs will handle the rest. And one more question from do we have to purchase API key fee if our application use certain level of tokens within the period? Yes, yes. So the free tokens and free API keys are with that limited token number. So if we are going to use high usage, then you have to purchase the API key, purchase the the service. You have to use your credit card or something to do it. So that is what I have done it here. And then Nimesh, can you run that again? So let me run this again in the interest of time. Give me a second. So if I run this one again, it is, give me a second. Yes, there's too many things. Can you see this, my user input prompt? I mean the input part. Hi. So now what thrilling question can I help you with today? How to go to moon? Let's ask some funny question. Or just hop your rocket ship and then take a left at Mars and easy peasy, right? Or could you just ask NASA for some tips? Okay, so it's answering in a funny way. How can I build a rocket ship? Grab some cardboard, duct tape. Okay, it's again answering in a funny way. But if it's a serious question, study aerospace engineering and work for a space agency, and up to you. Let me exit. So let me, I need to, just get some glass of water. I'll take 2 minutes and then I will come back and then we will continue from the slide deck. Okay. Okay, shall we move on? So in the interest of time, I am not going to run the rest of the cells. You please run on your own and then try to understand. Okay, I'll just move to the next section and then we will Yeah, we'll see this thing. Okay, so this is the first notebook that we have seen. Now, the important thing is they just, directly connecting to this OpenAI model is not enough. Okay. So let me quickly provide an introduction about LangChain. So LangChain is one of the popular framework that helps to develop uh, LLM or generative AI applications. So that is where LangChain is coming into play. Let's say, Sim, let me ask one more question. Maybe please feel free to answer. I expect quite a number of answers for this particular question. Does LLM remember your question? So that is the first question I have. What do you guys think? So there's one answer say yes, another answer say no, it is stateless. Any other guess? For the session it does. Okay. So my question is, forget about this, any other prepper or any other thing, just think about the pure deep learning model, okay? Nothing else. If you consider that pure LLM model, it's a deep learning model, will it remember your question? Kind of remembering, since it is learning for the session, it does stateless. Okay. So my question is not about training phase or pre-training phase. It is after once a model is trained, you have a trained model. You are using the model and asking the question as we did a while ago, asking the model to write a poem or some funny question. When you do that one, will it remember your question? Any guess? Maybe let's wait for two minutes. Okay, no. One more question. Okay, no. Okay, let's move on. So the answer is it will not. Okay, the pure LLM model, the pre-trained model will not remember any of the question that you are sending to the model. But there are other wrappers that will do, but not the core model. Okay, that is the question. And then second question is, how do LLMs do math problems? How to do a math problems with LLMs? Any guess? Can we do math problems in LLMs? Okay. Are LLMs capable of doing math? Okay, there's no, there's another answer, yes. To some extent, I think it will. Okay, to some extent, right? Okay, we'll move on in the interest of time. So as of now, as of today, LLMs are not that capable of doing math problems. Okay, if we wanted to solve math problems, then we have to have some extra techniques. But be mindful, I am giving this answer with some caution, because the LLMs are evolving super rapidly. So this particular answer for this particular question may vary maybe in the next year or maybe later part of this year itself. Okay, as of today, LLMs are not capable to solve math questions. Okay, and the third question is, how will you analyze a news article? Maybe a BBC article you want to analyze that particular article. How will you do it with LLM? and then these are the question. Okay. So now these are the questions where pure LLM will not have the support or does not have the support. Pure LLM model, like the deep learning model, that which pre-trained model does not have support for these type of activities. But here is where we need extra framework to enable these capabilities with LLMs. Okay, there is where the LangChain is coming into play. So LangChain is, maybe I'll skip that particular slide and I'll move to the next slide. So LangChain is, so you have these several LLMs or generative AI models. It's this OpenAI is there, Gemini is there, Llama 2 from Meta, and Mistral AI Mistral is a French company. They have their models. So like that, there are several Anthropic Cloud is another state-of-the-art model. So like that, there are 5-6 companies working on these LLMs and generative AI models. Now that is on the left-hand side. Okay. Now you want to develop an advanced Gen AI application, maybe a banking chatbot or maybe some other text summarization tool. Okay. In order to do this advanced Gen AI application, maybe bank. Okay. I'll put bank or university, or in your case, maybe university application or something, maybe library chatbot. Okay. If you wanted to do it, you need some extra capabilities. There is where the LangChain is coming into play. It will help you to automate most of the things or introduce additional capabilities in terms of memory, data retrieval, chain, callback, agents, prompt, and those type of things. So LangChain is another important tool and our library or framework that you have to master in order to develop any useful or industry grade LLM or generative AI application. Okay, is that clear? There's where LangChain is coming into play. We need, on top of the original language models which are generated by or by these major companies, we need LangChain also. Okay, I'll skip this particular slide. You can go through it. Let's do a quick example. Okay, so the example is this one. Okay, what is 234 raised to the power of 0.756? No, this bar hides me. So how can we do this one? Any guess? 738. So we want to ask this question to LLM, and then we are expecting a right answer from the LLM. Can we do it with an LLM as of now? Can someone answer yes or no? We want this. We want someone, a very naive person, non-technical person, non-mathematical person goes and type this particular question. What is 234 raised to the power of 0.738 raised to, and then can LLM do the calculation, computation, everything, and then provide you the answer, the precise answer for this particular question. There's no lock. Any few more guesses? There are three answers so far. Can we do this one? We have 10 more minutes for this session. So if you are, can you guys be a little quick, and then we can move to that particular notebook. Any guess? Yes or no? Okay, yeah, there's another answer, no. Okay, so the pure LLM doesn't do or can't do as I have mentioned it, but there with the help of a LangChain we can do it. Okay, that is the another thing. Okay, so what we can do is, in LangChain has a concept called chain. So chain means a sequence of calls, sequence of call. The call can be whether to LLM or tool or data pre-processing step. Okay. Then if we pass this particular question, what is 234 raised to the power of 0.738? what happens is we can get this answer rightly with the help of LLM and also with the help of LangChain. Okay, what happens is there's in LangChain has prompt template for math questions. It will first of all format the question and pass the question with the right prompt to the model. So here after formatting the question with the right prompt, the LangChain will pass the formatted prompt to the model. In this case, it will be OpenAI GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 Turbo, and then the model will provide you the output. Then also you have to execute that output and then generate the answer. Okay, so here the important point is this one. Okay, the LangChain, sorry, the LLM doesn't provide you an answer, but it will provide you a Python code, the Python code snippet. Then you can execute that code to get the answer. Is that clear? That is what happening with this particular chain in the LangChain. Okay, let me quickly switch to that notebook. Okay, can you open the notebook number 3, which is chain example? It's a very simple notebook, but it's important to understand the concept. So let me quickly run this thing. Okay, this is a LangChain example. So the same question I am going to ask, what is the thing? There will be one more question as well. So let me do the setup here. So this is if you have not installed these packages, please install and then set up your API key. So I'll copy the API key from the previous notebook. Then as we did in the previous notebook, we will just create an client, and then we will create a LLM LangChain for math. LLM math chain. Okay, this is one of the chain coming from LangChain framework. You can go and read more about that LLM math chain. Now what does it do is it will now the LLM math chain is ready. So LLM math chain is what you are seeing here in the pink color. Okay, this is the math chain. There's a prompt template, there's a model API call, and there's output parser, and there's a Python executor. Okay, this is everything is comprised into one chain. That is what we call it as LLM math chain. So the definition chain that interprets a prompt and executes a Python code to do math questions. Okay, now I am asking before asking this particular power question, I am asking if I have 480 apples, how can I divide it to 4 people equally? So I am asking this particular question. Then it what does it do is it will also, since we set it as a verbose, it will provide you the code and everything. So what the model provide is this one. Okay, numerical expression to evaluate 480 divided by 4. Then this particular line get executed in the Python code link, and then we get the answer is 120. So what LLM does is, or the large language does here is, it will understand the question and then generate the corresponding Python code. That is what it do. So this is the question and answer. If I have 480 apples, how can I divide it to 4 people equally? The answer is 120. Let's ask the second question that what we have seen earlier. What is 234 raised to the power of 0.738? So when we run this particular cell, so what that LangChain LLM provides is, LLM understand this question, and then it will provide you the equivalent Python code. Okay, numerical expression to evaluate 234 into the power of 0.38. Then when we run evaluate this one, the Python got the answer is 56, 378 and so on. Okay, I'll stop here. Maybe I'll take one more or 2 more minutes to just bring you through the rest of the slide, because in the interest of time I wouldn't be able to cover everything. Okay, this is the lang chain. The what you have to remember is that we need lang chain to develop applications which are, LLMs are not capable of doing everything, but we can augment or enhance LLMs capability with the help of additional features and techniques. Okay, and then there's a judge, and then okay, we'll skip these things. You can go through it later. Analyze Wikipedia page. Okay, and chain example. So next steps, this is the last slide I have. Okay, this is just what I have shown for so far in the last 2 hours or 1.5 1 hour and 40 minutes is just a starter. Okay, just a initial thing. But if you really want to master in generative AI or LLMs and all these particular newly developing area, you have to master or spend decent amount of time on prompt engineering, RAG, retrieval augmented generation. This is what the high level RAG architecture you can learn and read more from the online, and then fine tuning LLMs, and also finally LLM ops. That also very important. How to develop a production grade or industry grade application and productionalize those applications for a business critical enterprise. There's where LLM ops comes in. So the diagram that you are seeing here is a high level architecture of a RAG or retrieval augmented generation, where the RAG, we need RAG to augment the LLM with the private data. Okay, and then chat with that private data with the help of LLM. As I mentioned, if it's a bank data or government data or any other telco data, if the data is just private or sensitive to that particular company, they will not put that data out. So the rack will come into play, and it will help you to keep your data private within yourself. At the same time, you can get the power of LLM. That's all from my side. I mean, in the interest of time, I couldn't cover. There are a few more things and topics and concepts that I have created the materials and notebooks, but I couldn't cover. But anyway, I hope that this particular session has given you some level of understanding from theoretical context as well as from the uh, practical context. And then this will help. I mean, you can, if you are interested, you can keep studying, learning, doing more and more tutorials, that one, this one, and then you can develop your knowledge in this space. Thank you very much. Let's wait for questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sumani Rajadurai. That was an enlightening and interesting workshop. And we will now move on to the Q&A session with our speaker. And dear audience, this is your chance to delve deeper into the topics discussed, clarify any doubts, and glean additional insights from our experts. So get ready to engage and make the most out of this opportunity. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and clarify your doubts. And your time begins now. Mr. Rajadurai?
Yes.
Yes, we have 3 questions in the Padlet. Can I read it out for you?
Yes, please go ahead.
So the first question is, could you share the speaker's presentation slides with us?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Is it possible? Yeah, thank you very much. And next up, we have one of the main issues I faced is finding quality data sets in the health domain when it comes to fine-tuning models. I'm currently working on a raft, and it's hard to generate better and more accurate outputs than LLMs in use like ChatGPT with the datasets available. How can I solve this issue?
Like
Should
this
I
is
read
bit
it
of
out again?
yeah, no, I understood the question. I can also read the question. So, I mean, the data issue, if the issue that you are finding is data, I don't have a clear answer for you. We have to, first of all, understand the specific applications that you are working on in the sector of healthcare domain. And then there are multiple options that we can think of. One is synthetic data generation. There are, very mature tools and techniques available to generate synthetic data. And that is one way. Or second way is if data is a blocker or a bottleneck, we have to spend, maybe some other or find some other ways to find the relevant data. Okay, and maybe one more answer would be there are some latest techniques which can provide you a expected performance with a little data also. So even let's assume if you have maybe just 100 data points, you can effectively find, use these latest techniques to build a decent LLM application with a little data. But I need to understand further about your application.
I hope we answered your question, um, the participant, and we're unable to see any names. So next up, we have what is the purpose of using transformer architecture as the underlying architecture? And are there any architectures like VAE we can use when training LLM models?
So the purpose means, I mean, researchers have tried out several different architectures and different techniques, but the empirically, I mean, this transformer architecture along with this self attention mechanism outperforms the prior techniques. Okay, so that is the main reason that transformer architecture is taking a lead. Other than that, I mean, there's no I mean, specific theoretical reason, but as of now, compared to the prior techniques and architecture, the transformer architecture outperforms. Okay, so if you want little further on that question, the explanation that researchers are providing is with the encoder-decoder approach. When the encoder encodes the input sequence into a intermediate representation, the model tries to understand the very internal or very underlying patterns in the language, which even human couldn't understand. It just creates a next level or deeper level layer, and then from that deep understanding, it the decoder make the generations. So that is the explanation that researchers are providing. The transform architecture performs well compared to any other prior techniques. Yes.
Yes, Miss Dr. Rajadurai, we have another question. Can you explain a rough roadmap for a ML engineer?
Can you rough? Okay, so ML engineer is someone focuses on the system part of the AI, where we have data scientist is something it's a big overlap, but something different, where data scientists usually interact with businesses and business teams and business departments, understand their business problem, and then develop a data science solution. Okay, so that is the data scientists on one hand, they mostly work very closely with the business teams. Okay, and the ML engineers is on the other hand, they will focus on the engineering quality of these models and the systems. Okay, so one of the main task of ML engineer is developing machine learning systems from the machine learning models that data scientists built. Okay, so data scientists develop a model based on the user business requirement, and then think they also work in a back and forth and understand the requirement, and then evaluate the model, fine tune the model, and then ensure the accuracy is there, and then model is resilient enough and all. Now, machine learning engineers take that model and then develop a machine learning system around it, and then that system goes into the production, and from the production, the end users or whatever the intended users use that particular model. Okay, so that is the difference between data scientist and machine learning engineer. So data scientist from the business funding, and machine learning engineers from the technical and backend facing. And your original question is, what is the roadmap to become an ML engineer? I would say, first of all, improve your knowledge in this system level technologies like cloud related thing, PySpark, and big data processing technologies, Kafka, Spark, and then there are different cloud technologies. And then more importantly, be a expert in these machine learning techniques and modeling techniques, including deep learning and then standard machine learning. Understand how these models work, and then what are the internals of models, and then how can you optimize the models further, and then in terms of accuracy, in terms of responsive time, and then the model data drift and all. So that developing those understanding will help you to become an ML engineer. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajadurai. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for the Q&A session. I want to
Yeah.
thank all of the attendees for your active participation, thoughtful questions, and unwavering enthusiasm during this session. As we wrap up this inspiring workshop, I want to extend heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker for his invaluable insights, expertise, and guidance throughout the session. Your contribution has truly enriched our learning experience and set the stage for future innovation. Thank you once again, Mr. Rajadurai.
Thank you very much.
But before we conclude, let's capture a virtual photo to commemorate this moment of collaboration and achievement. Please use the virtual background shared with you and turn on your cameras. You'll be given a couple of minutes to do so.